Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week, and your chance to participate with Kevin and Sean in the monthly Nash and Friends watch-along show. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Oh, excuse me. Hi, welcome to Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. You've caught me going over my mail, Kevin.
Your mail?
My mail.
Your mail from home, or?
My mail from home, and look at this shit that starts now.
What do you got, AARP?
Yes! Kishman took us. I got to deal with this now?
What did you get in
Holy
a backpack?
Fuck. What? No, to join. Association of Retired Persons would imply 65. What am I getting this for?
Obviously, they're telling you you're an underachiever.
50? 50? No, overachiever. I'm ready to wrap it all up at 50. Oh, my God. This is, it's hard not to be insulted.
They pounded on you for years and years and years, you know.
I was actually told that you can get a very good discount on car insurance. So as I stand here with my
You
righteous
said that last week. You said
indignation.
It was like, yeah, and you haven't done anything. If you're still paying fucking the man.
It shows up today almost as if.
Did you ever hear
the
the story on the General, why SHAQ does the ads for the General?
SHAQ does the ads for anything.
No, but SHAQ does the ads for the General.
Why?
When he bought a car and he didn't have money for the insurance, and his dad said, "Well, you got to have insurance," and the only person that he could find that would insure him was the General. When he was young.
When he was a youngin', okay.
Yeah, so
I didn't even know who knew the General was around back then.
Well, because SHAQ wasn't sitting next to him. That's why nobody knew.
I guess. Yeah, the General. Who the hell would have known?
Yeah.
I remember the New Jersey Generals, circa 1985, with Herschel Walker, team owned by Donald Trump. The USFL, the first USFL Mach 1.
Yes.
Well, all right, I'll consider becoming a retired person at 50.
Yeah, they already got your shit, man. I mean, it ain't like you're going to... The only person that gets that information before AARP is the Reaper.
Right. He's yet to show up at my doorstep.
Yeah, so if I could just be glad it's AARP.
Jack, feedback from last week. Jack says, as much as I love the podcast, and I do, my most favorite part is the very end. I get to hear that song every Monday. Such a great start to the week. With that sweet melody and soothing voice. Fucking thank you. All right, you're fucking welcome,
Thank you,
Jack.
Man. Thanks, T.
Yeah, thanks, T. And it is available on, is it Spotify? Where is it available?
Yeah,
you can get it.
Spotify.
So The Builders was Tristen's band, so look that up. Sophia is the song. C. Read in Here says the show proves how you don't need to just talk about wrestling. Big Kev, be strong, T forever. Thank you, Seer. See, read, and hear. The Palette Pro, that sexy Sax Man thing with Kevin and Sean's reactions had me laughing so hard I started to choke. I sent the link to Waltman and said, this guy, how epic is this guy? Now, the start of the clip is him like by candlelight with his shirt off, rolling around with a sax, and he texts back. I'll read the exact thing so there's no false advertising here. He goes, I was wondering WTF was so epic, and then I kept watching. Sean had me pitching for the other goddamn team. Product Review Productions says simply, I'd love to read a Nash autobiography. Get the people's eyebrow on that one. Comments?
I'm just not interested.
Pseudonym 1821. It's weird you guys were talking about Cassadaga. I live in western New York State, and we have a Cassadaga here as well. And there is also a psychic community here as well.
You didn't read this last week?
No, you told me about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's responding to you telling me that in Lake Helen, Florida,
maybe I read this on YouTube.
Yeah. He said it's an old Seneca Indian word that means water under the rocks. Thought it might be interesting to you guys. My interest is very piqued, by the way, about this location. Do you stay there when you go? Because it is a hotel, right?
No, but it's like a whole area. It's not just it's a city.
Right. Oh.
It's just there happens to be a hotel there. There's other places to have readings besides that hotel.
Okay. All right. Well,
I guess. Fuck, I've never been.
I bet there's a walkthrough somewhere on YouTube. I'm gonna check it out. 3 Mike B. Kevin, beings you're from Detroit, and you guys talk about music a lot on the show. I've been wondering if you had Bob Seger's greatest hits or Kid Rock's greatest hits laying in the seat of your Mustang, what's your go-to CD? Both are rock legends from Detroit. Both are great. But if you could pick only one, which one would it be? Sean, you can chime in as well. Thank you, Michael Bradley.
Number one, I don't think Kid Rock is a rock legend. I think he did kind of hip-hop, then he did kind of Limp Bizkit type music, and now he does like basically country.
Yeah, that one Kid Rock CD, record, album, whatever you call it. It's the one that the hits were like Cowboy was off of that, and
right.
That was great. That's a start to finish, great. Devil Without a Cause, yeah, that's a great start, banging start to finish CD.
Yeah, but listen to fucking that live Silver Bullet Band from Kobo in '80. The two records, 2 vinyls.
Is that with this? Is that with the single of On the Road Again that we hear all the time? The live version, is that off of that? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
I always wanted to do a movie called King of the Road about wrestlers, and that was going to be the opened song was for that.
Yeah, I think you told me about it. You even had like the whole. Didn't you have like the shot down too, the opening scene and everything? Yeah,
everything.
James Miller. Sean becomes absolutely giddy over things like rainbow tape and pride jerseys and hockey. It's not enough for him to support whatever he wants to support. He wants you to have to support it. I wonder if Nash ever thinks about what Scott Hall would think about all this. I remember Nash defending Scott not wanting to do the Goldust angle while shooting a Kayfabe Commentaries interview with Sean. But things have changed. It's part of the political doctrine now. If you want to be a part of the groupthink, you have to adopt the groupthink and then parrot it on your podcast. James, I
was the one that said I was boycotting the NHL.
Yes.
How much more... You just...
Well, I'm a far easier target standing next to you.
Yeah, but I'm saying... I won't watch hockey, except for on the ESPN, when I'm not going to turn off the Sports Center.
Right.
But that's where I'll get my... I won't sit down and watch... I won't watch...
James,
watch this be the year the fucking Wings make a run for it.
I don't think you have to worry about that. James, just to point out, you did take the time to write a little bit here, though you're insulting me. It's fine. You did take the time to write this out try to make your point. But I think you're actually proving my point that no one's saying you have to do anything except the NHL, which is banning
can't do it.
tape. What I said, I think, last week, if you play it back, was the NFL has a good model with Your Cleats, Your Cause, it's called, where you want to wear rainbow cleats, you wear rainbow. You want to wear pink cleats for breast cancer, you wear that. You want to wear camouflage cleats for the troops, you could do that. So you have a choice. But by saying you can't do it when their contract says you can wear whatever tape you want on your stick is douche. So you've kind of just proven my point. I don't care what you support. I'm not wearing a fucking rainbow shirt today, James. I'm coming out of the gate a little hot. The profanity's flying, James. You have to excuse me. I think you're proving our point, though, that it should be the athlete's choice. I don't think the NHL should say they're not allowed to show support.
Yeah, I'd watch it being a powder keg because, I mean, in this calm, simplistic world that we live in,
Yeah.
I don't see why anybody might be
I'm
on
the
about
problem.
a 1/16 of an inch of debt cord before they blow.
Stack Mills, I'd have to disagree about the Owen deal. The show should have been stopped. The man died right in the middle of the ring. That's a crime scene, right? I don't know.
No,
Might have a
it's not
point.
crime
Not a
scene.
crime scene. Well, I mean, I guess it was an accident, so that's not a crime, but I don't know if there was an accident on a construction site, would they allow the construction workers to continue hauling bricks and debris across where the accident happened? I don't know. I have to think about that.
You know what? Whatever. It's mute. The show went on, and that's what happened. So you can disagree. You can agree. Bottom line is, show went on.
You know, the last commenter.
I think Kennedy
mentioned-
should have put a bubble on the top of that car. He was told to that day. He was told he was going down to an area that was very hostile. But he went ahead because it was a beautiful day in Dallas and decided to not have the bulletproof canopy on the Lincoln Continental.
that
which
the
was-
CIA hid in the back of a truck.
Which was actually designed by my neighbor's father.
Get out of here.
I swear to God. I think his last name's, the grandfather's name was Willie. See if a guy named Willie isn't the person that designed that.
This is your current neighbor now, or when you lived in Detroit?
No, this is my neighbor. He lives back behind me. He lives a street behind me.
How's that come up? You stand in like water in the lawn, and he comes up, and the Kennedy assassination comes up. How's that?
No,
happen?
his son is a police officer, and his son and my son used to hang out a little bit, and so we went over there for dinner one night, and we were just talking about shit, and he said, he asked me, it was one of those things where, like, are you a conspiracy theory person? And I said, fuck. I said, I said, you bring up the Kennedy assassination, I'll I said, that's probably one of my favorites. And he said, get out. He said, you're not going to believe this. And then he told me the story. Which I don't see why. I mean, I don't know what the upside to him lying about that would be.
No, and a very random thing to choose
Yeah.
to lie about. I just wanted to go back to the guy who said I'm giddy about rainbows or whatever. He mentioned Scott Hall. Like, ask your buddy Kev what Scott would have thought about that. Is he a notorious homophobe? Why?
No,
Why would I
think-
ask you what Scott?
I think that he was very uncomfortable. They did the Goldust angle, and he unzips his singlet. Goldust, the character does, and it says there's a heart,
Yes.
and on the heart it says Razor. And Scott's son Cody was like 5 years old when that angle played, and he came home and Cody said, "Dad, why does that man?" So Scott, who wasn't a homophobe, just told Vince, he goes, if I have to go home, he said, I'm involved in the angle. And if I have to go home and explain this to my kid, because you can't just say, oh, well, some men, you have to go in that whole, and so Scott said, I don't feel comfortable doing it. That's all it was. It wasn't that Scott was homophobe.
Right.
Scott just didn't want to teach his 5-year-old kid about homosexuality.
Right. Okay. So there you go. I was told to ask you.
Where now it's he's absolutely correct, and it's a different world.
Indeed. No, absolutely. But I just wanted to get that he made the Scott Hall reference, so I wanted to make that clear. Give you a moment to speak on Scott's behalf. Hey, listen, tonight, if you're listening live on Monday, tonight is another Nash and Friends exclusively for the subscribers to KliqThisTV.com. You can go there, and we teased this last week, and it has come to fruition. Enzo, or Real One, whatever you want to know him as, Enzo Amore will be here tonight, chopping it up with Kev and myself. And the best thing about him? He's a Jersey guy. That's the best thing about him. We're going to do a special Jersey guy or Florida man.
He's a really talented dude. He can do a lot of shit.
Yeah. Product of the WWE Performance Center, right?
But also, he can rap, he can sing, he can.
Yeah, of course. I retweeted something that he put out. We talked about it last week about that insane promo. I don't think we did it. Did we play it on air, or we just talked about it off air? We did. And
played it on there.
It's that X factor. No wrestling school is going to teach you how to be completely interesting every time you're handed a microphone. He's one of the cats that can do that. So. And
his work's gotten a lot better.
He's so young. Was he 25, 26, maybe?
I don't know. How old is he, guys?
Yeah, someone's looking it up, I'm sure. Yeah, so, definitely great things ahead. 36, 26, 36, whatever. He looks very young.
You're a little off there, buddy.
That's all. He wouldn't be a starting lineman in the NFL. So that's tonight. So make sure you hit KliqThisTV.com and join us for Nash and Friends.
We got to get him a push quick, man, because he's once he hits 40, they'll use that against him.
Yeah, I said it was 26. Good God, he gives a very youthful appearance.
I think
his energy level.
Yeah, that's what it is. when you got a couple of monotone Soma boys like us,
right? I know, stuttering,
beating their somas, and just
he'll up the energy like RJ did.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett here to tell you about SaveWithConrad.com. You've heard Conrad talk about the total nonstop savings they've provided current homeowners. But did you know Conrad and his team can also help My World listeners become homeowners? They make buying a home easier than getting the bag after a good housekeeping match. But don't take the Last Outlaw's word for it.
Franklin Dove, Orlando, Florida. After listening to all of Conrad's podcasts and hearing the different stories that he shared, I felt the time was right for me to explore buying a home again, and reached out, and one thing led to another, and finally closed last week. It was excellent. Everything flowed smoothly from my first contact. I just put in the initial request online. Francis reached out. We started the application process, got the approval moving. Holly was great. Larry Thompson was amazing. Everything was smooth. Communication was perfect. Really, it was a much better experience than anything that I could have imagined. My name is Franklin Dove in Orlando, Florida, and I got into my dream home thanks to SaveWithConrad.com.
That's right. In my world, it doesn't get any better than 5 stars. Don't let your landlord get over on you. Walk out on that bad deal and stop throwing your money away on rent today with SaveWithConrad.com. That's right. It's SaveWithConrad.com. NMLS.com.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
Yeah, I might be a little down today, but the last week watching people dig with their hands through concrete to reveal either a child that lives or dies. Just I don't know. I find it draining.
I thought it was. I thought you might have been called to for the speaker position, and maybe Speaker of the House position, and maybe had a busy afternoon fending off requests to appear for the vote. But they took care of that without you, Kev.
Yeah, they got
Mike Johnson.
Good old Mike Johnson. You talk about a household name. Boom, there he is.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Mike Johnson. Everybody just shut your eyes and draw him right now.
Listen, you need another election denier in Congress, I think.
I think so. Somebody that's really anti-abortion. Just all the just kind of go ahead and check all the boxes that pretty much
set the nation back about 60 years.
Yeah, and then made the midterm such a red wave.
Yeah, the only thing performing worse than Congress now is our NFL picks for the DraftKings King of the Mountain contest. We went 0-3 last week, everybody, which you know.
Fuck.
We had a few 0-3s there.
Number one, there's no money on this.
There is no money, but there's a pride thing.
Fuck that.
Right. Not the rainbow tape pride. James, don't tune out. We're not putting rainbow tape on the fucking.
Thank God we got that push.
We'd
be at fucking.
Yeah, we came out of the gate strong, which keeps us tied for 1, 2.
It's a long season.
Fourth, it sure is. We're only halfway there.
Especially when the Bears rack up 30 points out of just nowhere with a. Did you see this kid's story? This quarterback from.
No.
So he went to it's a Division II school like Calablanca State or some shit. The kid threw for 17,000 yards. I mean, he's got every passing record that there is
at the school.
No, in college football, he's like there was a guy that went to Rio Grande College named, what was his name? Bevo Francis or something like that. He scored 113 points, and which is the most points anybody's, Chamberlain scored 100, but I think Bevo Francis scored 113 or something like that.
Yeah, wow. So what we've got this week is, and I feel good about this week's picks, I got to tell you. The Jets should be able to beat the Giants by 3 goddamn points. I mean, wouldn't you think this is common sense?
I mean, they're both so rotten. I mean, that's just.
Yeah, but there's a glimmer of something in the Jets. I don't know what it is. I didn't see it at the beginning of the year.
I think the coach, man. I dig that coach.
Saleh, yeah.
Yeah, I dig him.
They were calling for his head, man, from week 1 to. And you know what? I didn't understand the blind faith.
In the quarterback?
Yeah, and but he's so young, and you have to say maybe the coach. He's in practice every day. I'm not, so maybe he sees something we don't that has to be developed. I don't know. He's in a good place now. So
the thing that people, if you didn't watch Hard Knocks and watch the Jets, you wouldn't understand. So he was their quarterback last year, but they brought in Aaron Rodgers' system. So this is everybody's first year running this system.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like he was going to shift and run anything but the Rogers system that they had worked from minicamp through.
Right.
So this is everybody's first go through on this system. So, I mean that's
makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean their defense has stayed, has kept them in the games, and
they'll beat the Giants by more than 3, is what we're saying. Philly, we're giving 6.5 to Washington. Should beat them by a touchdown, given that goddamn Commanders team. You made an observation at the was that the press conference after the
yeah, I just saw that
the
guy that he was at Carolina before, the coach Rivera, whatever his name is.
And what was that you described that he?
He just looked really defeated. He looked like somehow he's been around long enough where I think that he's seen signs, and maybe Ron Rivera,
yeah.
I think he's seen signs that they're just not a good football team. They're just the one guy. They got a hold of one of the players, and he just basically threw more motherfuckers to an ESPN person as he walked out of the locker room than I do on a Good Friday night.
And Minnesota and Green Bay is a pick'em, so we went with Minnesota because I had them projected to be giving a couple of points. So I think they should have been favored.
I think Cousins is a very underrated quarterback, and even though that Stephen Smith was trying to say today on ESPN that he wasn't a top 10 NFL quarterback, but
your buddy Barry Bloom was in the news a little bit. Saw that Will Ospreay, showing he's taking his free agency seriously, has secured the services of Barry Bloom. This is courtesy of SE Scoops today.
So Barry's got Will and Kenny Omega.
He does have Kenny,
and I
the Young Bucks, right?
Jericho.
Hangman. So
Barry's doing well.
He's still a player. That's interesting to me. Like no one's. I mean, it's safe to say he's got that market locked up, right? I mean, if you're a high-profile wrestler, you're acquiring the services of Barry Bloom as a contract attorney.
Especially, I mean, he did like Scott and I got into some shit, and like he's not silent. Like he doesn't get you signed and then you don't hear from him. Barry's he's very good at what he does. I was blessed to become very close with him.
How did he come your way?
Scott. Yeah, I remember Scott had grabbed him, and then
I think Sean, if what we're writing is correct, Sean
was
first, right?
Yep.
And I think they called Scott right there from Barry's office when he was meeting with him, and and that kind of set the whole ball rolling on the exodus to. Now Sean had to stay, as we mentioned. That was that.
Right.
That was that weird contract. I read up more on that. It was a 2-year deal, right? But if you were leaving, you had to give something.
No,
ridiculous.
it was a 3. The initial was a 3-year deal, but you had to give a 90-day written notice,
so they could bury the fuck out of you.
Yeah, so you could.
And I guess X-Pac hadn't realized that, and it rolled over. So he had to kind of fight to get out. And but you guys went first.
But I sent my 90-day, and I mean had my wife type it, and I sent it to Vince FedEx.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we went down to Destin and stayed down in Seaside in a little oceanfront place. And I sat down there for a couple of days and I pondered about it. I didn't want to do it. I was just, I think back at that last year, like when I became champion, like, so just say November of 94 to when I gave my notice, which was, was it April? So February, sometime, March. I had to give my notice like March 12th, I think it was, March 6th. And I just thought of how much I had improved. The Diesel that worked the DQ match at Royal Rumble against Brett versus the Diesel that worked the Survivor Series and the Undertaker. Like, I made some huge strides in that year, and it was like I knew I wasn't going to fall down the card. I was going to stay, in the top 6 spots. So it was it was going to be and like I said, we were going. I was Dungeon of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
It was WCW It wasn't like we were going to the Yankees.
Yeah, you weren't jumping over during the ratings war.
It was for financial security and the ability to have a portfolio, because I knew how much I could. It was guaranteed, and I wasn't going to make any less than that.
They offered you a nice, sizable 3-year deal, increasing amounts each year. But what was, you talked about kind of pondering the decision. What was the one sticking point that kept drawing you back to not
do
committing?
It?
Yeah.
Because nobody believed in me until Vince did. So if Vince doesn't look through the curtain when we're having that six men in the garden, and look over at Shane and look over at Lex and say, look at that big motherfucker. Look at the size of his shoulders. Look at him. He's an athlete. And he's clean. He's clean. Like, that big motherfucker is clean. And that's what we needed right then. He was always, going to go with bigger than life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, so people like, I get shit for the vanilla midgets and all that kind of shit. It's just like, if you got a 12-inch cock, like of course you're going to say, no bitch wants a 6-inch hose. Then if you got a 6-inch hose, you say, what are you going to do with that other 6 inches that don't go in there? It ain't going in anyway.
Story of my life.
So, yeah, so it's just, when it comes down to it, man, it's just, they all want to cuddle.
We did a guest booker in the Kayfabe Commentaries days called The Outsiders Stay Inside. And the premise was, if you had to book your stay with WWE and not go with Scott, what could you have done?
I think I had Scott winning the championship.
I don't remember anything other than the lime green shirt you wore, because that much like your experience in the shark cage at Shark World will forever be ingrained in my memory. But all right. So your loyalty to Vince and the fact that Vince was, you said, the first guy that believed in you, and
it was like Thulsa Doom. Do you know who Thulsa Doom is?
No.
Thulsa Doom is the James Earl Jones character in the original Conan film.
Oh.
And he kills Conan's mother and father when they pillaged through back when he was in search of the riddle of steel. And, so Conan finally is at the end of the movie, he's in front of him. He's got his sword, but it's been broken in half. And James Earl Jones looks at him, he goes, "Wait, my son, it was I, if I had not given you this, this rage, and he's going on, he goes, "My son, come to me, my son." And he's, trying to tell Conan, that
he's the reason for his
everything. He's
success as a
he's-
warrior.
And he
sake.
said, he goes, "You killed my mother. You killed my father." That's pretty good, fucking Arnold.
That's an Arnold, isn't it? I just want to check. Could have been the Peter Boyle from last week, maybe.
And finally, he reaches out, and you see him kind of shake it off, kind of like I did with that steel chair with Hogan. And just chops off James Earl Jones' head. And then there's this great shot that flip it around. They've got I'm sure it's on some kind of a doll or something, but they have him and he pitches it down these stairs, the head, and you hear it. So,
Kev, me and everybody that's listening is trying to connect this to the Vince McMahon thing. Was it you cutting Vince's head off?
No, he was my Thulsa Doom. I was so, because he had made me.
And you felt that you would have been cutting his head off by leaving.
I thought I was betraying him, but then at the same time, it was just like, I didn't put the Christmas hat on my head. I didn't sing "I Wish You a Merry Christmas." I didn't take a character that was kind of rugged and made it kind of soft. So there was mistakes made on both behalves.
I was going to say, it sounds like maybe now.
No, there was then.
That was on your mind as well?
Yeah,
Culpability
I
for
just
damaging
really,
your character, maybe?
I sat there. Because I owed him, but I also, I had gotten smart. I got smart to the business. When I came into WCW, I wasn't the same kid that left there. I'd gotten smart to the business. Fuck, I was in the ring every night with a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So, when we walked in the door in WCW, we knew what we had to do to make that thing work. We knew exactly what we needed to do. We knew that sex and violence sold, and there wasn't any pretty girls on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to be violent. We had to be ultra violent.
Right.
And they weren't going that way. So
I have a weird question for you.
Sure.
I'm thinking of the time frame that we're talking about. Thinking about the now that jump from WWE, I mean, that made Kevin Nash. You were doing great as Diesel, but that jump, the decision not to worry about loyalty and security, taking care of your family, you mentioned all that. I'm doing some math. Was Tristen conceived at this time of the decision?
Tamara is, put it this way, when I left, I showed up on the 12th or the 6th, and Tristen was born on the 12th of June. Okay. 6 days apart. My leaving WWE was 6 days later. Tristen was born.
That's crazy.
This is basically, I'm going to work 300 days, and I'm not going to watch my kid take his first step, or I can be home and work 150 days and spend and watch my kid grow up.
So he was all part of that decision as well.
Oh,
okay.
God, yes, it was huge.
Gotcha.
It was,
yeah.
and the fact that it was still a very hard decision. I think is kudos to how much Vince meant to me.
History written by the winners, of course. But had you stayed, could you have had the career you did not going over to Eric? Even if Scott went and Sean went?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It would have added so much. There was so much more added wear and tear on an already beat down body.
Considering the schedule and everything too, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, that was 20 minutes every night on that ring, and that was before Vince was bouncing in those rings.
Before they softened up a little bit.
Yeah. Those are the real deal Holyfields. And all the hookers and hoes know how I feel.
The Crown Jewel card, WWE Crown Jewel.
Interesting.
Is coming. Well, we have some time, but I'm looking at the lineup.
It's the 4th, isn't it?
Let me see here. Yeah, this will be. Well, this will be
November 4th?
airing. So the 30th. Yeah, so I guess it'll be a week from when we're on the air.
Yeah, but we got it. I think we touch on it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say because there's been some changes too.
Right.
Recently. So the
I don't.
so Cody's injured still, right? I mean, has he been cleared and all that stuff, or? He's gonna go, right? Damien, he's with Damien. So Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest.
He gets hurt a lot.
Yeah. Crazy business that way. Mysterio and Logan Paul.
Interesting.
U.S. Championship.
That could be the sleeper that they could fucking steal it.
Oh yeah. Whenever you have Ray in there, though, you got that opportunity.
They could definitely fucking steal it.
Now, what about Roman in L.A.? What do you do here?
I just don't. You know what I would do? I would make it. The first thing I'd do is, because how they get out of WrestleMania, they had a DQ.
Mm.
Right? So if you want to draw me in, make it a no DQ match. Now I'm like, oh. So Roman's got to beat him clean. Are they willing to kibosh this kid's run, or are they going to put 1,000 days of the company on a 40-year-old LA Knight who's over?
Listen, you can't. I don't think you can do that again, right? I think the whole thing with the pay-per-view, with the concept of the blow-off, right? I think people begin to roll their eyes. Still, does it happen still when there are screw job finishes, DQs, anything like that? Like,
yeah, but what if? Okay, have you ever seen this as a finish? No DQ. Okay, just say I'm wrestling you, and Scott's outside the ring, and it's a no DQ. So Scott comes in and hits me with something, and you dodge it. He mistakenly hits me with it. Okay, I'm injured to the point where I have to get a neck brace, backboard, and I have to be taken. I'm to that degree injured. Mm-hmm. So it's not a DQ. It's just I can't continue on. And then you don't kill him. So
how do you book this?
I think a screw jobs is what I would do is I would fucking make it the most competitive match possible with as many as false. I would make it. I would. You can still like. You can do with LA Knight what Bret Hart did with Steve Austin. You can make. You can elevate LA Knight by and still get out of there with a nice piece of business that keeps both really strong.
Because of the contest, because it's a match to remember.
Yes.
Right.
So, and I think that's the whole that this will be huge, because if he can, if LA Knight's that guy, and he's the one that can carry that torch, then, as Steve proved, he can take one and continue to move forward.
How far out would you be looking for this? Like Roman and LA clearly kind of captured the fans' imagination. So are you looking how far out? Next WrestleMania or maybe Royal Rumble?
Well, to do that?
To keep this going in some form or fashion, involving others, but keeping these two the focus.
You've got Cody on the back burner that's been trying to get a shot at Roman. So it's like, you can't long-term two guys to be the foil for Roman, you know, and the money's always going to be in the chase. As long as Cody's chasing, he's not hurt.
Right.
I mean, you can, you know, how many great fighters have fucking just been dodged by guys, you know, and it makes their legacy strong. So, but LA Knight, this is like, as far as I can recall, this is his first title shot.
Be interesting to see. What about Seth and Drew?
If it was someplace besides Saudi Arabia, I'd be worried, but I say that Seth wins that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You really don't need another hot. It's almost like that belt isn't even up for grabs. Like nobody goes, like, you know, like Drew's going after it, but like, you know, it just seems like that belt is going to stay put for a while too.
Okay.
I see them. I just don't see with the numbers that they're doing and the way their business is. I just don't see them having to do anything controversial, anything, you know. If you can fucking run the ball fucking off tackle and get 4.5 yards every time you do it, and I can't stop it, fuck, man, there's no fucking reason to put the ball in the air.
Keep it in the ring, yeah. What is that, the 4th, you said, right? November 4th.
Yeah, I thought it was November 4th.
It is. It is. Well, I'll be down in Florida. I'll be watching from Florida.
Good, we'll have a reading that day.
Yeah. We'll let everyone know the results of the card so they can place a bet on. I don't know if DraftKings takes
at 1 p.m.
wrestling action, but oh, that's right. That's right. It's a Saturday too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'll probably be out. My birthday's the 2nd, so I think reservations are made for Shula's. So I don't know if I'll be able to.
Where are you going to go? What part of Florida?
Well, to the house, and then I'll drive down to Orlando to do Shula's one night.
Where's
I don't
there
know,
a Shula's in Orlando?
in the Dolphin.
Oh, okay.
The Dolphin Resort. Yeah.
Tamara's she's in Epcot tonight.
Was it a food and wine festival
Yeah,
still?
Food and Wine Festival's going on still. They had dinner. It's my mother-in-law, our friend Peggy, and my wife, and they'll be staying at the Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
That's got the cart to take shit up, the little tram things up in the air.
Oh,
Sky-
the hell they call those things? The Skyliners? Or whatever?
Skyline that takes you to Epcot.
It was a very interesting feeling to be stuck over I-4 on one of those, or whatever the hell road I was, 192
Right.
maybe, and a little bit of breeze,
It's I-4.
a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit of
I-4.
wind. Yeah, that's fun. I wanted to ask you about Punk. Punk was backstage at Impact. Did you see this? And I guess just hanging out. I was in Chicago, so I guess he was just visiting. I don't think this was... I mean, everybody reads into this shit, but I just think he went to see some of the boys. And the way I'm reading the article about this, and the way it was like The Godfather. In the openings, he went waiting to come say Luca Brasi, practicing his speech, waiting to come talk to Don Corleone, and it was like Punk was willing to speak with anyone who wanted to get some time with him, is the quote from the article on SE Scoops. Quote, key Impact talent also spoke to Punk throughout the taping. I mean, he's been given a status in pro wrestling.
He's fucking super over.
That few what. So, there have been guys super over forever. I don't know that. The audience.
I think in a different. I think that when you. I'm trying to think of I guess that I can't come up with the best term I can come up with is just shit away opportunity after opportunity. There's almost like a fucking, like I said he had mental health issues.
You did.
But he might just, I mean, he may just really have taken a fucking dose of I don't give a fuck to the 9th degree and just.
Why is he over? Why is he over? Let's look at the product, not the man.
Well, I mean, he had a great run when he went to. The Cult of Personality is your song is huge. That's huge. When you get some drop, when you get like a real song and not some bullshit song.
An identifiable popular song, Living Colors, Cult of Personality.
When I hear that song to this day, I think of CM Punk. When I hear Voodoo Child, I think of fucking Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, that's not it. Listen, I remember CM Punk from the Ring of Honor days and seeing his matches.
I think that being
incredibly talented,
straight edge. You know, I think that he doesn't do drugs and.
It just seems to be all incidental things. I'm just. If you were training at a wrestling school and you put on some film, what would you tell the kids to watch? You can't tell them to watch the theme song. You can't tell them to watch that he doesn't do drugs. What do you tell them to watch so that they're a superstar like CM Punk?
I don't think that Phil would have the success that he had. It's like it's. I don't think it translates now.
This day and age, you mean?
Yeah, it's different.
Right. When you were working and guys would come backstage like this, were they we always were guys always welcome in the locker room, like in the Raw and
I always
Nitro
would
days?
let them blow me
Out of respect.
out of respect.
That's just you and
Yeah.
Marlon Brando. But were they always welcome? Could guys come back during the Nitro and the Raw era, the Monday Night
If they
Raw
were
era?
cleared by, they're cleared.
When you go back, do you go to any tapings? Like just
I haven't been in one.
that you're not participating in. I mean,
I've been in one in ages.
was that? Can you remember anyone that wasn't welcome? Who came backstage that was maybe a little bit of this fucking guy. Rip Rogers, maybe.
No, I think you pretty much. I mean, number one, like TV is a long, fucking tedious day.
Oh yeah.
That's like fucking saying, hey, I know you're not on this film, but how'd you like to come fucking hang out on set for 12 hours? I'll fucking pass.
Once you've done it, it's the last place you want to be.
Yeah, that's the same as wrestling. Hey, you want to walk around a concrete arena all fucking
That's
day?
what I mean, yeah. Oh, that's funny.
There'll be a chance that you'll go through fucking 17 different fucking temperature zones. So you'll be sitting someplace and be fucking sweating down the crack of your ass. The next thing you know, you'll be someplace that'll be freezing cold. You're definitely going to end up sick. So do you want to show up for no reason? Fuck yeah.
Maybe especially that place up in what was that city in New York where you had the car accident in the snow? That high school gym that you were doing, Liberty, New York.
Liberty, New York.
A little Raw taping with the basketball hoops down. Listen, one thing that would calm you down and make you feel a little better about walking around that freezing concrete arena is if you had a little bit of Get Blitzed Lit Aid that you could.
We weren't allowed.
You weren't allowed to do that back then.
THC.
But if you were visiting, you could. Our guy Mickey Ray Sinatra. This is his concoction. That's right. It's nano infused Delta 9 THC
A
sipping
little
syrup.
funkadelic kick there.
It's a syrup. You mix it in any beverage, a tea, a white soda. Kev recommends the Sprite Zero with a little key lime pie flavor gimmick. The gimmick Baba, nano-infused, means it goes right to your bloodstream by passing the breakdown in the
I
liver.
can't believe it.
So if it works like alcohol, it works like alcohol. It's tolerance killer. This is no gas station Delta 8 bullshit. This is the real deal. Greg the Hammer and the Wendy Richter and you old douchebag mullah. The THC that you get from the marijuana. If you're in Maryland, you can visit a state-lit smoke shop. But for the rest of us, it's legal right now to ship from the Get Blitzed website to all 50 states without a med card as long as you're over 21. And right now, you can save 15% by entering the code KLIQ. Click.
Hop on it, too, because there's legislation trying to close the door
They're
on
coming
this.
for you.
So
They're coming. And Mike
get
Johnson.
Get your blitz on.
Save 15%. Enter code Kliq at checkout. Go to
I promise. You do the Get Blitz. It fucking do the job for you.
You do the arch.
Do the arch all the way for Shiki.
Get-blitzed.com. Let's go to get-blitzed.com and put in that KLIQ code. Get that 15% off, son. There you go.
Send that 15% to me. Because after you get that fucking buzz on, you'll be like, what?
You had a testimonial last week, didn't you? Somebody you knew?
Yeah, one of my, I just got, they said to me, what's this? I said, dude, I said, you know me. If I'm pushing it, it's because it's good. He ordered it, and he just basically said, yeah, true that. Like, yeah, no doubt.
Hey, did you catch this Alaska Airlines story?
Well, see, I don't know if I got the story or the hallucination. I mean, come on, it's you. You do mushrooms 48 hours. Like how many grams of mushrooms did you do?
What were there mushrooms involved? I thought it said he was having a nervous breakdown.
Yeah, he was having a nervous breakdown because he did hallucinogenic mushrooms 48 hours earlier.
Jesus Christ, this is all you need. If anyone who doesn't know, an Alaska Airlines plane was
this guy's sitting in the jump seat in the cockpit.
So I guess when a pilot travels city to city, wherever, they give him the option to sit in the cockpit in the jump seat, and he did. And he took control, hit a...
he stood up, and there's two red fucking light gimmicks, two red switches that shut the fucking engines down.
Absolutely. A fire threat intervention type thing that shuts the engine. So the motherfucker does this, but the other pilots are quick to get. I wonder what was going on the flight, like how much people knew. Like was it jarring at some point, or was there
it's not like they're fucking flying it like a Cessna.
Waiting. Well, I wonder if you feel anything when
that shit's set. He didn't get to them. They're just. You might have heard some. You might have thought like, wow, those fucking three guys are up there banging each other fucking aggressively in the cockpit.
Your pilots respect each other.
That's right. That's why they call it a cockpit. Get your little cack.
83 felony counts of attempted murder for everyone on board.
And then they doubled it. It was 100.
Did they really? 166?
They threw the fucking. And then the guy said, "I just want you to know that I'm in no way arguing these charges." He says, "I stood up and I thought I was in a dream." So I'm just like, okay, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, sit the fuck there. Now, if I'm the airlines, there ain't no motherfucker sitting in the fucking jump seat.
So now of all the things, all of the tensions that flying brings anyway, now I got to worry about this. Now I got to worry about a dick in a pilot's outfit,
right?
A legit pilot.
Well, how about the
going berserk in the cockpit?
That plane they never fucking found, that Malaysian Air whatever fuck, that just went out, did a U-turn, and just fucking vanished.
Is that the one that documentary is about on Netflix or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah, they never found that plane. They said, it was in a hangar here, and it's like, oh man, that some fucking guy went ahead and just fucking shut off the comms, shut off the fucking it just dove that shit in the ocean someplace.
Yeah, but that's even weird though, because with all the like sonar devices and stuff, they can find stuff underwater. That's a really weird story. Now that you mention it,
they could find you got to have an idea of where to fucking look.
Where to start? Well, yeah, I guess the route couldn't they track? I don't know.
Jeez, if you know, like where the fucking the stream is, like the different streams, and you fucking hit it in there at a certain time of the year, and that shit gets moved, fuck.
Well, yeah,
There was years and years and years ago. It was AirTran. I think it was before JetBlue. It was called AirTran. And they fucking remember that fucker just did a nosedive in the Everglades. I mean, he went like straight down in an AirTran fucking plane in the Everglades, and they never found shit.
Really?
Yeah, imagine if fucking ugh.
We're all going to the alligators now, aren't we? Right? We're that's where we're going.
Oh, fuck that, man. It's those 50-foot fucking pythons down there that have no fucking predators.
Yeah. Make an interesting survival story. You're the one who makes it out of that wreckage and have to find a way to survive in the Everglades while they can't find your plane. Speaking of 50-foot pythons, though,
you wake up and you're fucking. It's Misery 2 starring Dwight Howard.
Take your ankles out. Speaking of 50-foot pythons, Blue Chew, longtime sponsor of this show. They're going to sponsor this week's Stiff One of the Week, as they always do. Guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? We're talking about sex, so now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, it's BlueChew.com. Unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. Take them anytime, day or night. Plan ahead. Be ready when the opportunity arises. The process, the best part of this, well, the science is the best part of it, of course, but the best part of the Blue Chew service, they make this easy as pie for you, okay? All done online. No visits to the doctor's office. No awkward conversations. You go to BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers. You're approved. Prescription within days, and delivery of your tablets in discreet packaging. Okay, Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. So discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. So many of our listeners, we get testimonials all the time. Be one of them and try it for free. It's the whole point here. We make it easy for you to get started. Try Blue Chew for free. All right, use the promo code NASH at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code NASH, to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Even after that first free month, so affordable. This is a no-brainer for men all over the world. All right, the stiff one this week. Good God, you know, Kev, I've heard you talk about this and make reference to this jokingly. The most recent Guns N' Roses tour.
Oh.
And I was playing a cut. I didn't realize it was a current. I got caught up in the loop, a Guns N' Roses loop, and I thought it was an old performance of Welcome to the Jungle. It wasn't. It was current. So this is Axl. This is Axl today. There we go. Classic song. Great cut.
You got to take him. You got to.
Mickey Mouse.
It's Carrot Top. So if Carrot Top fucked Mickey Rourke, they had this fucking cat. I'm sorry, my ears are bleeding.
What do you think they paid for that ticket? Hundreds of dollars.
My son saw him in Hong Kong, and it was like, he said it was so unbearable. So unbearable.
And was it this most recent tour, or?
I mean, a couple of years ago.
A couple of years, yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Wasn't like his. Yeah, it was. He said Slash was amazing, but he said the rest of the show was. So it was just fucking god awful.
That's such a shame. I was such a Guns N' Roses mark. 88.
See, I wasn't.
First record.
They killed fucking grunge. So.
Yeah, but I don't know. They predated grunge a little bit.
They hated. They came in and kind of.
Well, that first record, Appetite for Destruction, that's off of, that was 87. The grunge thing was more like early 90s, 91, 92. And it was it was the hair band time, Poison. There was like a softer, chick-friendly edge to a lot of the rock music. They came along. Dirty Neck, motherfuckers.
I was never a fan.
Oh, I loved it. Loved it.
I was never a fan.
I wish I could time travel. I don't want to see this. I did see them with another favorite of yours, Metallica. I know. In, I guess, 92.
It's because me and Hatsfield look so much alike.
You do have a little James Hetfield going. All right, Jersey Man.
Anybody with a fucking with white hair and white facial hair, we all look the same.
Gets the instant cool.
We all look the same, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you can double for Hetfield, you're cool. Florida man, Jersey guy. 2 headlines. An actual Jersey headline. Oh, that went through my nose. It made me fucking laugh. Apple cider coming out my nose. A Florida man headline, a Jersey guy headline. And you will decipher which is which, as you do often with your freaky powers. All right, first one. 76-year-old man arrested for living with sister's remains. And wanted man tried to throw cops off with an "I don't live here" sign in front of his house. True stories, folks. 76-year-old man arrested for living with sister's remains. Wanted man tried to throw cops off with an "I don't live here" sign.
Anybody can live with their dead 76-year-old sister. But to throw the cops off with a "I don't live here" sign, that guy's from Broward County.
Let me see. It might not be Broward, but you got the state right. Polk County.
Polk, okay.
I'm not sure where that is in the whole thing, but this is a real headline, folks. I swear to you. Johnny Yates does not live here was the sign he put up in front of the house. Now, this may shock you, but it did not thwart authorities who went in and made the arrest. Sheriff's deputies questioned someone leaving the house who confirmed that the sign was wrong and Yates was inside. And that was about as long as the deceptive ruse took.
The fucking investigation went all of 13 seconds.
I was going to say it was
so is that
short
motherfucker
run.
in there? What? Yep.
That was shorter than Aldo Montoya's run. And then the guy from Jersey, the 76-year-old man living with sister's remains, was charged with concealing his sister's remains in the home. Mark Winters of Westwood, facing charges of desecrating human remains in the second degree and 2 counts of aggravated assault on law enforcement officers in the 4th degree after an investigation led to the grisly discovery. Let's see, reason here. Not that there could be a good one. Really, what would be? What do you? Didn't quite have the money for the ceremony. Like what? Subsequent investigation revealed that Winters allegedly concealed his sister's remains for an extended period of time in the home. However, it is currently unclear how long he was living with the remains. Okay.
I wonder if he was getting checks and, if they had a joint checking account.
Like hiding the death.
Yeah.
As the, yeah.
I don't know if you buried somebody on your property, like don't people bury people on their property all the time, like on a farm or something like that?
Probably, right? Yeah.
Like the old.
Yeah, in the steamer trunk though, in the hallway though, is a bit of a problem.
I'm just saying. I would think that the crime had to have been that he was somehow still using her the fact that she was alive and getting some cash out of it would have.
That would be some kind of explanation, yes.
Right. Just that.
We'd hope it would be something as logical and not
right.
something
I hope it
a
would be
little
just
more
like,
strange.
is she still eating that same TV dinner? Yeah.
I can't recommend the Stones album, Hackney Diamonds, enough. It's like pieces of their career. It's funny, like the sounds of different eras. It's
I haven't. So I was driving home from the gym today, and he said, "Coming up next is the Stones." And I thought, "Oh wow, like they're gonna play something new. Like this, it's been so fucking long." They hit me with Satisfaction. I'm like, or something really fucking old.
Yeah, and of all the songs. Well, guys, this is the Ask Nash segment. Hashtag Ask Nash is how you can reach us on the socials. And like Corey S. Morgan did, and he says, my fave basketball player of all time is Tennessee Vol and NBA Hall of Famer Bernard King. Did you ever meet him, and what do you think of him? Bernard King, former New York Knick. 1970s? 60s into 70s? Or did he play 80s? He might have played into the 80s. No?
He was a junior in 1976, 77.
Oh, so it would have been 70s into the 80s then. The NBA I'm talking about. I'm talking about his NBA tenure.
I'm just saying he played at university. I would have played with him my freshman year.
Right. How many years was he in the league then? Because I feel like he was gone by the time.
He had those knee problems. Remember when he was with the Knicks, man, and he had that one playoff series where he fucking averaged like 50.
Yeah, that's where I remember him from when he was playing up here, playing for the Knicks, and he was the.
He was with the Nets too, wasn't
he? Maybe in the twilight. 14 years, yes, he was with the Nets as well. Did you know him at all?
Yes.
What did you think of him as a player?
Fastest, and I never saw. I was never on a court with Rodman, but his ability to hit the ground and go back up, like to the side, like say 38 inches, like his ability, the timing that it took for him to go up for a rebound, hit the floor, and go up to that exact same height again was like a blink of an eye. Like no recoil, just it was unbelievable. And Rodman had that.
Right. Shakin' Jake. Hey, Kevin, who are some of your all-time favorite R&B artists? Now, you have talked about affinity for Motown, the music, of course, the city, but the music.
I mean, as a kid, like the Temptations were huge.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite when I was young was Smokey Robinson. As time went on, I'd say like Peebo Bryson. I really like Peebo Bryson. Frankie Beverly and Mays. There was a guy named Norman Connors that was a producer and a singer. One of my favorite albums was the Best of Norman Connors, which had like Phyllis Hyman and Angela Bofield and Ingram and.
How about Al Green? Could you
Yeah.
stand on Al Green?
Yeah, I mean that's yeah, absolutely. Teddy, I love Teddy Pendergrass. Going back even, back when he was with the Blue Notes and everybody dug Barry White, Lou Rawls.
Did you get into funk at all? Like when?
Oh yeah.
When it became okay.
Parliament Funkadelic.
Right. I was just going to ask you.
One Nation Under a Groove. And George Clinton.
Right.
Bootsy Collins.
Mm-hmm.
No, they were. I'd love me some funk. And still to this day, one of my favorite bands, groups, whatever you want to call it, is the Isley Brothers. And just because of that, the way that Isley guitar lick, that wow, who's that lady?
Yep.
That's one of my. But there was an era, that of so many, like Enchantment, The Whispers, like there were so many R&B groups that had 1 and 2 vinyls that came out and 1 and 2 hits on the vinyl. So when you would go to an R&B show, they'd almost always have 2 stages. And like, the Chic would come up and they would do, the Freak and whatever, and they'd do a couple of their hits, and then Brothers Johnson would come up and they'd play 3 or 4 or 5 hits, and they would just go back and forth. And then a lot of times it would be Funkadelic. Parliament Funkadelic would be the main thing, and then they'd bring the mothership down, and
Yeah, it was crazy.
Tear the roof off the suck. But I mean, like back in the day,
George Clinton was a madman in the most wonderful
Like-
way.
didn't matter where we were at, or what we were doing, or what bar it was, whose bar it was. If we were told not to get up on the dance floor, if Flashlight played, Flashlight, neon light. If that played, man, we just ba-da-da-da-da-da.
So we've just been notified on our feed here that Flair just showed up in AEW as we're recording this as Tony Khan's gift to Sting. Have to see where that goes. Just, I guess a nod to the fan of the classic wrestling. I don't know what this does to move the needle exactly for the young fan, but my 50-year-old ass is intrigued. I'm clearly not the demo they're going after, though. Or maybe they are.
You know what? We get this a lot where we bash them, and I guess what people don't understand is they come on when we do our show.
Yes.
So by the time we can talk about it, it's been talked about for a week from everybody. So whereas Raw is on Monday, I can watch it. I can DVR it. I can watch it Tuesday, and then is that the Speaker of the House?
No, don't be silly. That's Joe Biden. Yeah, but listen, they're in Philly, right? Who would you bring out? Would you bring out Sandman? Would you bring out...
But not to Sting.
If you work it somehow,
It's
make
Sting's
it some...
retirement.
Make it some kind of roundabout
No.
thing.
Stop it with your ECW fucking deal.
No, it's logical. It's in Philly.
No, it's not logical.
And
It's
it's
fucking
closer to the demographic. It's
because
closer to the demographic.
You're right. Sting has such a fucking absolute correlation with ECW.
It doesn't have to be the Sting segment. It could be elsewhere on the card.
He's being brought out as a gift to Sting.
Correct. So give Sting something else, and then or give him Flair, and then do it
Then
in
bring
another
out
segment.
Sandman for what?
Whatever the fuck you got a whole show to write.
So
I'm looking at the demographic.
Take 4 minutes away from one of the other guys that need the time to bring back an ECW guy that nobody cares about, or bring Ric Flair out for Sting.
I disagree that you would have a reaction that no one cared about. Some of the ECW roster coming out on AEW. You would differentiate yourself from WWE. It'd be a totally different market, and I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. It's cool. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna watch it. But they don't want the 50-year-old guy.
As long as you fucking live down in your basement, you're cool.
Dear Molish says, Yo, Kev, when you visited England, did you ever go outside of the major cities? There are some lovely places all over the country that I think you and your wife would really enjoy next time you're here. I recommend Norfolk, Devon, Dorset, and the Lake District. Do you have time to do the outlying areas of the UK ever?
My wife hasn't been to Yosemite yet.
Is that on the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I try to tell people all the time. It's just like I was fortunate because I was over there so often, and as I got when I played ball over there, I learned to use the train system.
Oh
So,
yeah.
You know, once you be now like I remember the first time we went over there, and Tamara's like, "We're gonna take the." I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna take the train. Like, we're gonna take the train everywhere."
Mm-hmm.
And now with the high-speed trains, it's like, God, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. I used them in Italy. It was amazing. It was a way to
It's the
get all
way
over
to
the whole
go.
country.
Plus, you get to see the country. You know. No, England. There's Scott and I would often when we did spoken words and things like that when we got on in our years. If we would drive, through back roads because the roads would get, the major roads would get fucking wreck or something on them, and we'd have to be someplace, and the guy would take us through some little town, and we'd see a pub or some little, and Scott was always like, "Whoa, man! I've never seen one of these." And I remember it was the first time we saw the neon thing for the ice cold Guinness. And we
Really?
both,
Not served at the typical.
no, man,
room
ice cold,
temperature?
like pouring a Miller Lite.
Wow.
But it was Guinness.
Just like to add confirmation I just got that tonight on AEW, RVD and ECW alumni will be tagging with Taz's son. Okay, so they're in the pocket. They're in the pocket. Maybe there'll be a cool run-in. Maybe the kendo stick.
RVD, the fucking WWE champion.
Still closely associated with his ECW days. Yes, that guy. That guy. Live audience. What do we got from the audience? Come on, this is your time to talk to Kevin. You wait all week as part of the.
If not, he's going to start reading Todd is God out loud.
I'm going to read a passage. ECW saved wrestling. We all know this. We don't have to say this. Brandon,
stop it.
It was the precursor to the Attitude Era, to the NWO. It was the when pig farmers and dentists and hockey players were in the ring. They were taking it seriously. ECW was risque. It was vulgar. It was dangerous. When wrestling wasn't. 92, 93, 94. And then, it's like Apple didn't invent the MP3 player, but they had they could bring it to mass market, and that was called the Attitude Era. All right, what was the question on the screen? I'll read it. Brandon Granger, Sean and Big Kev, what's your favorite episode of Moonlighting? And how many times did you jack it to Sybil Shepherd? Oh my God, what a fine lady.
Never really watched it.
Yeah, I'm rewatching now a little bit. I got some of the first season, and I remember the episode. I don't think I enjoyed it at the time when I was a youngin', but they did an entire episode in the style of the Taming of the Shrew. So it was in Renaissance times and written, I guess, in an attempt at iambic pentameter. I don't know if it was actually phrased all that way, but it was kind of funny. It was their characters thrust into a Shakespearean play. I forget what it was called, but it was season 3, episode 8, I
think
believe.
it was called Rotten TV.
It was. I watched the thing with Bruce Willis and Sybil Shepherd years later, where they were reminiscing about the series, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that was my favorite one to do. My favorite one to do." And the writer producer Scott Caron was on with them, and he said, "Yeah, he said that was a lot of fun." He goes, and it was the one everybody watched least, got the lowest ratings. Who else? Who else is in the house? Ryan from the gym. Big Kev, can you help me with my arm drag?
No.
Any advice?
Maybe talk to an ECW guy. They were the one that did.
Maybe
revolutionized everything.
Let me think. Some of the guys that might help you with that. RVD might help you with that. Taz might help you with that. Eddie Guerrero, in his time, might have been able to help you with that. In his time there, Dean Malenko, from his time there, might have been able to help you with that as well.
Yeah.
Who else? Headingite. I gotta ask. Don't laugh at me. What the fuck is the Arch? I know Sheiky would ask, but what is it? It's a story Kevin told.
You gotta. It's when a girl is on all fours and she arches, jacks her ass up.
And in a very, very odd, it was a night in the hotel room, right? Partying with the boys.
He said
There was a stripper.
It was a girl. Yeah. It was a girl and Sheik asked her to do the arch. And she wouldn't do it, and he smacked the dog shit out of her.
So heading out, if you're ever asked to do the arch,
just fucking do it.
Just fucking do it, out of respect. Jacob says, hey, Big Kev, I'm taking a 1930s U.S. history course, and I'm learning about the Flint sit-down strike in 36-37. Was your father in the UAW? Are you familiar with that history?
Not during it wasn't. My father was born in 32.
Okay. So this was, I assume, a job action taken.
I'm sure it was a UAW strike of some kind.
Yeah, be interesting.
When you grew up in Michigan, I mean, you're not auto workers. It's kind of like lightning strikes. There's a lot of strikes.
Right. Han Solo Scoundrel for Hire says, hey, Kev, pretty obvious from my handle why I ask this, and I have zero shame about it. I don't live with my mom, have a wife and kids and a mortgage. Anyway, any geeks in either WCW or the WWF locker room? I assume, from the Han Solo, I'm assuming he means Star Wars geeks. Any big Star Wars fans in wrestling?
None that drove with me.
Right. Had to be. I'm sure there were in the company somewhere.
I don't think you were allowed to talk anything but wrestling during those 3 years.
No. One of my favorite stories, I don't know if you told me or Sean told me first, but like occasionally like Scott would get in the car and he'd be like, all right, no fucking talk
wrestling
about the business tonight. 5 minutes later, maybe not even 5. Scott
2001, 2002, 2003. What was that arm drag spot you did? Thought we weren't talking wrestling. Just that, and we're done. All right.
That's great. All right, more from the house. More love from the house. Our members of KliqThisTV.com that you can be a member of as well. Ask your questions during the live tapings. Brandon Douglas, if Paul or Sean asked for you to come to a program to help the company, would you, or is your time in wrestling done? Do you mean wrestling, or do you mean like an on-camera GM type thing, or would you do anything? I know you've done some guest training spots with like the big guys, like Almas.
They wouldn't call me unless they needed me. So if they called me, it would be because they needed me to do something specific. Mm-hmm. You know,
maybe the arch. I don't know. Well, I know you wouldn't take a bump, but
I'm not saying I wouldn't take a bump.
Oh, you would take a bump. Okay.
It'd have to be. Like I said, though, it'd have to be.
It's an expensive bump.
No, not even that. It'd have to be. They're not gonna call me and have me bump at 64 years old unless they're not gonna call me because, like I said earlier when we were going over the Crown Jewel, they're just not in a position where they have to put anybody in danger, or
they don't need to, is what you're saying.
No, yeah.
You don't have to get the prosthetic leg pulled off in the front row like Maurice did.
They're Georgia playing in the SEC this year.
All right, anyone else in the house? WWE DXECW. I know that's Brit. Hey, Uncle Kevin, Sean. Do you have any plans?
I have no plans. I might do WrestleCon,
To be at Mania in Philly. Let me get the question for the listeners. To be at Mania in Philly. If not, what are your plans for that weekend? Really? Not. WrestleCon will be there. So you're going to do that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Maybe we'll have a cocktail.
Maybe we'll do a little Capitol Grill.
Do anything you want, brother. Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristen Nash, Kevin Nash, Sean Oliver. Producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristen Nash, copyright 2023, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, you want to do another one?
This was our 69th.
69.
I can barely taste it.
To have
Let us free to fade away into eternity. Circulate, you've come to love me, but now I'm frozen in dead flesh. Oh, Sophie, knew all along it was a trick, but the customer service never answers the thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. Through twists and turns, you've come to love me. Now I'm cold, I'm frozen. Baby, we're broken, and the customer service never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer service never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer service never